just go home. And so we did, and we spent the rest of the day cleaning the house and packing a bag, and patiently awaiting the results of the sonogram that did not come until we were in the hospital ready to go into surgery to take you out. And I was still acting aloof, but those of you who were on Facebook and Twitter would realize that I was busily texting, Facebooking, and tweeting the family members and friends interested, or, in the case of Facebook and Twitter, forcibly making people find out about your birth. By 9:30, we had the go-ahead. Your lungs were mature and ready to go, and the shocking cool I had been displaying instead of nerves started manifesting in what was later described as a live Twitter of your birth. By the time you were born at 11:05 a.m. on November 18, 2011, I had a slew of new followers on Facebook, a multitude of e-witnesses, and several really bad Ninja Ghostbusters I'm in Scrubs jokes going on. In the hospital operating room, they were cutting and reassembling your mother, and the doctors were having casual talk about boxing and pills and kids with interspliced comments directed at your mother to check up on her. The anesthesiologist was doing an amazing job monitoring your mother's heart and adjusting the amount of drugs she was receiving to see comfortable yet lucid. Unlike when your brother was born and she was dazed and confused. "What's that smell?" your mother said. As I looked on the other side of the room, behind the ominous Wizard of Oz curtain that bisected your mother, filled with a not-so-clear red liquid. "Oh, that's nothing. Are you cauterizing me?" "Oh, no, don't worry. That's my burning flesh. Gross." The bucket next to your mother suddenly was more red, less clear, and less liquid. And then you came out all purple and covered in white in utero powdery substance, and they cleaned you up and we heard you cry for the first time, and we immediately knew from your cry that your temperament would be totally different from Jeremy. See, it had something to do with what I said in the first place. And by all accounts, thus far it is. And it's amazing to see how two children born of the same parents, delivered by the same doctor, in the same hospital, and actually in the same room on the same table can be so different. But I suppose that's the larger beauty of humanity. And they handed you to me in my Ninja Ghostbuster doctor getup, and I lowered my mask and I showed you to your mother. "Sam, say hi to Ayla." "Hi, Ayla. Listen, stay away from your brother's friends and don't date any boys who ride motorcycles." And they wheeled us all into recovery. And I sent out the final piece of official Ayla Gray Melendez live Twitter event. It was your name, your date of birth, your weight and size, 6 pounds, 3 ounces, 8.5 inches, and a picture of you. And the picture took some doing because newborns are really slimy. And we wanted it to be a picture that people wanted to see. But after a half hour or so, they wheeled you into the nursery to get cleaned up and to be observed by a slew of grandparents and your brother waiting to see you, and more pictures were taken, and then the waiting began. Because from noon until 5 o'clock, your mother did not see anybody, and therefore nobody saw you. Because she just had a baby cut out laterally through her abdomen. Do you want to see anybody when that happens? No. She needed time to rest up and do her hair and do her makeup, and nobody was going to see Sam with her hair and makeup undone. I don't even see that. So then people came and they offered your mother some painkillers, and she told them to take a walk. And after about 3 hours, everything died down and we retired for the night. And your mother didn't sleep but was rested, and I knocked out and fell asleep right on the floor. Sleep a lot on the floors in the hospital. Bless you, Ayla. And the next day, no less than 20 people came to be introduced to you. It was an exciting day, your first full 24 hours, in fact. And then she refused, your mother that is, refused all pain medications, insisted on being taken off of the IV, pushed the issue of taking a shower, and by the time the second set of nurses arrived, your mother was showered, dressed in her own clothes, makeup on, hair done, and being mistaken for her own sister that doesn't exist. Your mother is an amazing woman, and I thank God for her every day of my life. Not only for myself, but for having you and your brother. I would not be a tenth of the sad little man I am today without her. Imagine, I'd be 0.09 of the sad little man you see before you. And that is very sad and very little. Your mother made such amazing strides that the nursing staff joked that they wanted to put her on YouTube as a model patient. And she was released somewhat early on Monday. And with 2 car seats strapped in the back of our 4-door car, we drove off to take you home, but not before getting breakfast. I'm not going to tell the story of breakfast, folks. It's all right. As we drive off into the noon rise in search of coffee, I thought again of that eggplant parmesan, and I wondered if the Bubemeister was true after all. It was more than 48 hours for sure. But it wasn't labor. But it did mark the start of your own arrival. So was it the eggplant that did it? I'll leave it to scientists. That's it.
I didn't eat any eggplant parmesan. Okay.
So I eat eggplant parmesan and you have babies.
So that's because you're fat. That's how I keep them skinny. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to honor our loved ones who have passed and are greatly missed. Aquilino and Rosario Caranto, Lillian Cedar, Francis Berman, Nomi and Santos Melendez, Chaim Krakenowski, and Rose Krakenowski. Denise Rivera, Rosette Aroches, and Scott Elliott Feldman.
If anybody has anybody that they would like to have remembered, you can stand up and say their name. I'll give you a moment. You don't have to scream it, you can just think it.
Master of the creation, you have made me your partner in creating a new life on this great, wonderful day. My heart is filled with joy. Let my husband and my family with me stand with me and praise your mercy. For you did not desert me in my wailing, nor forget me in my labor. But you fashioned from this great pain a great joy, and covered my cries with the birth cries of a tender infant. May it be your will, my God, and God of her foremothers, to guard the life of this girl from sickness and accident and sustain her. Heal me, her mother, and give me strength for her sake. Since this girl trusted me to nurture and protect her, I must trust in you and to nurture and protect me. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yisimek, Elohim, Kesera, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. May God bless you and protect you. May God's face shine toward you and show you favor. May God look favorably upon you and grant you peace. And now at this time, I'd like to call my father Yitzhak for the naming of the child.
Welcome, everyone. So happy to see you all here this joyous day. As it is an Ashkenazi Jewish tradition, the naming of a child for a relative is no longer living. Not so in the Sephardic sect, where they name after someone who is living, or maybe someone they wish were dead, I don't know. Either way, it's meant, in this way, we remember the person for whom they were named, and they should live forever in our hearts and in our minds. Now the boys, they have the story done during their circumcision, knocking off two birds with one stone, as the saying goes. I mean, it's not so big a Megillah in the naming of girls, but with, women's rights movement, being PC, and a general excuse to have a party. I mean, we are gathered here today in celebration to announce the Hebrew name that will forever be written down in the Almighty's book of life. So you better be good for goodness sake. Now, my granddaughter is named for her great-grandparents, Aquilino and Rosario. He who has blessed our monarchs, Sarah, Rivka, and Rachel, Leah, Miriam, and the prophetess Abigail and Queen Esther, the daughter of Avachol, may he bless this dear girl, and let her name be called Ayala Rhea, the daughter of Shimona Leah and Michal Shmuel. In good fortune and prosperity, may she be brought up in health, peace, and tranquility. May her parents merit and share the times of rejoicing, and in their marriage, in her sons and daughters, wealth and honor. They shall still be fruitful in old age, vigorous and fresh they shall be. And so should it be your will. And can I get an amen? Amen.
And lastly, I'd like to introduce everyone to Ayala's godparents, the Kvater and the Kvaterin, Malaka and Shmuel, as we like to call him Peter,
And Angie.
and Angie. And I'd like to call upon them to recite Shishekiyanu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehianu nikiyanu Elohianu, Hazmanazeh.
Afia, you read this.
Blessed are you, Lord, our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this occasion.
Now they're going to show the baby, and I'm going to bless the bread, and I'm going to put the music on, and while they're showing the baby, once you've seen the baby, or if you don't care about the baby and you just want to eat, the eating can start. Am I supposed to chop this with my hand? I need it.
You're going to have to write down the Jewish name for me because I can't remember it.
Any knife will do.
My leg is not Jewish. No, Rhea. Rhea? Rhea, Leia? No, Ayala, Rhea.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Food's open. See the baby. Eat the food. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to put the music on. We're done.